Okay, this will be an interesting one. Okay, let's see what we've got. Got here, genuine Egyptian papyrus. We're interested in this King Tutankhamun picture made in Egypt. So we're using that as our main piece. Bookmark. Anyway, that looks interesting. Maybe we could enlarge it further. Gonna make it into a movement piece anyway. So gonna leave it. Egypt, yeah, interesting. It's not going to be, I don't think Luigi and I, when we get together, I don't think we're going to be travelling if COVID-19 is still a problem around the world. So it doesn't look like we're going to get any travelling overseas happening until the vaccine is rolled out around the world and until they have laws against unvaccinated travelling. We're going to have to just deal with this shitty disease and just not go anywhere except stuck in our country. It's not worth spreading the disease, and every time they take a risk with these airplanes coming over, something goes wrong. There's always something happens regarding COVID. That looks really interesting. That looks interesting, but I don't think it's what I want. But basically, yeah, it's like as soon as borders open, something goes wrong. So I don't think Luigi and I, we won't be travelling for a very long time. But I'm okay with that. I haven't travelled in my life. I've never gotten used to that luxury. So I'm fine. I'm so used to being stuck at home in our own country, in our own state or territory. Now that looks interesting. But basically I'm not a person who has travelled very often. And basically I'm just so used to just not travelling. I'm just not used to the whole concept of going around the world and doing this and doing that, seeing this and seeing that. It's just not my thing. And having the disability that I have, I can't travel on my own anyway. I can go to places like Brisbane or Melbourne, but I can't go overseas and learn all the travelling and all the transport and how to get there and how to get here, and it's just too complicated for me. It's just too complicated. Now, I don't like any of these. I do like some of them, but they're not quite what I'm after. I like that one. Maybe we could use it. But basically, it's really, travelling is just not something that I've become attached to. I just haven't been attached to the concept of going overseas and finding new adventures. I just haven't had that kind of experience. It sounds pretty boring and a bit dull what I've been through, but basically I'm just used to it. I just take it for granted that I'm just not a traveller, that I haven't had the opportunity to go places. Being a loner, forced loner, has caused me to be so limited in travel. Being away from Luigi, and I'm not a person who is into friendships, like people like travelling together and backpacking, that sort of shit. I just want to be with Luigi. He's the one I'm hoping to marry if I can get my stuff to air and find him. Because I know that I'll probably end up travelling once I've located Luigi, because he's a travelling sort of a person. I'm sure he will be my gateway to adventure, because otherwise I just don't travel. I just can't. Last time I went overseas was back in 1988, when my dad took the family over for a holiday. It was actually not a holiday as such. It was a work holiday. It was for his job, for his new overseas job, working in a country called Kiribati on the island of Tarawa. Incidentally, Kiribati is going under because of climate change. But Dad had been there and I went there. We went to Majuro, we went to Honolulu. That was about it. And I was too young to go places on my own, or I just wasn't game enough. My disability would have made it difficult to do it. So I think because I was disabled and didn't know it at the time, I sort of knew I couldn't do it. Too much of a new thing to learn, and learning isn't something I'm good at because of my memory. So this is Egypt, an Egyptian-themed bookmark. There's a set of these. I just took this one. But Egypt wouldn't be a place I'd like to go on my own anyway, folks. But I'll probably end up going there eventually with Luigi. Anyway, that looks really quite interesting. I think now we can call this demo quits.